Mr. Davies, you testified, but you've interviewed and you've been in communication with a whistleblower who has been associated with the longest ballot committee. That whistleblower provided you with communications from the committee, including text messages, emails, as well as photographic evidence, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, pursuant to the Canada Elections Act, in order to get onto the ballot, a candidate must receive the signatures of at least 100 electors endorsing their candidacy. Some of the text messages and email evidence from the committee indicates or evidences that the committee was collecting signatures from electors before they had candidates to collect signatures on behalf of in violation of the Canada Elections Act. Is that fair?
That's fair. And even some of the text messages that we have from the whistleblower confirm that they hadn't even started the process and were asking for help in order to navigate that process while the signatures were already in hand, as evidenced by the text messages.
Okay, so I'm going to go through some of the relevant text messages and emails, copies of which you provided to me. I have an email dated May 30th, 2024, a mass email, or it appears to be a mass email, sent out from the longest ballot committee. This was during the Toronto St. Paul's by-election. It reads, please excuse me, just throwing out the invite one last time. And then it goes on to say, we've collected the 100 nomination signatures you will need, and we'd love to have you, but certainly understand there are many, many, many good reasons not to participate in our crazy project. Just 3 more days till the deadline for candidate nominations arrives. Signed, Kieran Shukabich. So how is it that electors could have signed nomination forms endorsing candidates before the candidates themselves knew that they were candidates?
Well, and that's the whole question that we're asking, and that is why we try to raise awareness on this and email Elections Canada to ask about this, because if a candidate has not registered as a candidate and therefore has not authorized somebody as their delegate, how can you have that authorized delegate that hasn't been authorized to actually collect the signatures in the first place?
Well, precisely. And then I have another text message exchange between the whistleblower and Kieran Shukabich, dated August 16th, 2024, and during the LaSalle-Verdun by-election, in which the whistleblower writes, how many people so far going to break the record, as in going to break the record of candidates, to which Shukabich replies, it's 53 right now, probably 60 tomorrow. We collected signatures for 109, so it's possible we'll break 100, but it depends on who can get it all done in the next week. Fingers crossed. And then 2 days later, there was a video posted on the Longest Ballot Committee's YouTube channel of Thomas Shukabich, with the title below, the title of the video being message from the official agent. Now, I've watched the video, and Thomas Shukabich states as follows: if we're going to break the record of the longest ballot committee, we need everyone to sign up as soon as possible. We've already collected 100 nomination signatures for you. Now, just to be clear, that YouTube video has been removed by the longest ballot committee, correct?
After expose, they removed that, and a lot of the other longest ballot organizers disappeared from social media.
Okay, very interesting. How convenient. And then there is a text message from, again, Kieran Shukabich, dated March 31st, 2025, in the context of the longest ballot committee recruiting candidates in the Carleton riding, in which he states to the whistleblower, I emailed you the nomination signatures and official agent form a few days ago. Now, you've talked to the whistleblower about his involvement in the longest ballot committee. According to the whistleblower, he had not indicated any interest in running for the longest ballot committee in Carleton, correct?
That's correct.
He was not involved in the longest ballot committee at that point.
That's correct, and evidence even shows that there's repeated attempts by Kieran to engage him over the course of several days and even the course of a week, trying to get him to say that, yes, I'm going to run, and there was no response by the whistleblower.
And yet the longest ballot committee here already had collected his signatures. How's that possible?
Well, and that's the whole point, and
Right.
It wasn't. And in fact, in Thomas Shukavich's testimony on Tuesday, he was even trying to say, well, we already know who's interested, and then that's how we know how to collect the signatures. But if they haven't registered as the candidate, and there's even another email that we have that specifically is from the Longest Ballot Committee to the whistleblower asking him to, don't forget to assign Thomas as your delegate as soon as possible, but in the same email they say they already have the signatures. So one cannot happen without the other if you're playing by the rules.
Okay, well, Mr. Chair, this evidence is very disturbing. It raises serious questions about whether the Longest Ballot Committee collected invalid signatures, which in turn raises the question, how many candidates connected with the Longest Ballot Committee have appeared on the ballot who should not have because they didn't have the requisite valid 100 signatures as required by the Canada Elections Act, and it raises further questions about whether the Longest Ballot Committee broke the law.
Very brief response. We're at.
I would just say it's, when you look at the scale of how many candidates that the Longest Ballot has actually engaged with since they started back in 2019, and you multiply this procedure, if they've been following it every single time for every single candidate, you have hundreds of violations of the Elections Canada Act, and potentially that compounds because it could be impersonation, it could be obstruction, and depending on how the Criminal Justice Code interprets it, it could be amounting to forgery as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davies. You can